Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am going to share with you 3 easy one-pot meal recipes that are perfect for your busy work from home days or for the lazy weekends when you crave to have some restaurant style food made at home. These recipes can be made very quickly, they're very tasty and definitely healthy. So yeah, without any delay, let's get started with today's video. So the first recipe that I'm going to share with you is this comfort bowl of food. It's Palak Paneer rice. If you love Palak Paneer, then you should definitely give this recipe a try. So the main ingredient for this recipe is this beautiful green spinach puree. To make this, I steamed the spinach in a big pot. I did not add any water. It kind of releases some water and gets steamed in it. This is called wilting. So once the leaves were soft, I added them in a mixer grinder jar along with some coriander leaves. And yeah, I pulsed them for 1 to 2 minutes and the beautiful green puree was ready. So I took 200 grams of paneer for 2 people and chopped them into small cubes. You can fry them if you want to, but I don't like frying my paneer cubes. I also chopped a medium-sized tomato, and I do not usually grind this because I think the chopped tomato adds a beautiful texture to the dish. I also chopped up some onion, made some ginger garlic paste, and that's all the preparation that's needed for this particular recipe. So for cooking, I started off by adding some refined oil in a big pan, and once the oil was heated up, I added some jeera to this, and when it got all fragrant, I added the onion and the ginger garlic paste and sauteed it till it got the beautiful golden brown color. So once it was cooked down, I added the rice. So I used brown rice for this recipe and I used 1 cup of brown rice, and to this I also added some fresh homemade coriander powder and cumin powder. So I prefer making these spices at home because I think that way they are way more fresh and fragrant, and I also added 1 small teaspoon of turmeric powder. And then I mixed everything really well so that the rice gets coated with all the spice and oil. And then I added the chopped tomatoes, some homemade garam masala and salt. And after giving this one final stir, it was finally time to add the water. So for 1 cup of rice, I added 2½ cup of water, and after that I just mixed everything in the water and then covered the lid and allowed it to cook for 10 minutes. So this is how it looks like after 10 minutes. It won't be completely cooked. The rice will be semi-cooked, and at this point of time I added the spinach. So adding the spinach puree in the very beginning kind of changes the color. It does not look as beautiful or as green. So I kind of love adding this midway, and I mixed it with the entire thing, and I also added the paneer at this stage. So as I said before, I don't like frying the paneer. I just love adding this to it directly, and it kind of gets steamed and cooked along with the rice. So I covered it again and allowed it to cook for 15-20 minutes more, and this is how it looks like when it is completely cooked after 20 minutes. The rice will be ready. You will probably see a little water, but just give it one final stir and the water will get soaked up. And yeah, the delicious bowl of food is ready. So I garnished it with some freshly chopped coriander leaves, a lemon wedge and some chilies, and I also added a cucumber raita to the side, and that's ready. Do give this recipe a try. I'm sure you will love this as much as I did. So the second recipe has my most favorite ingredient, prawn, in it. So it's a rice recipe that's loaded with vegetables, prawns, sausage and obviously a lots of flavor. So I started off by chopping some onion, some garlic, and some red and yellow bell pepper. This was a green bell pepper by the way, but somehow it transformed itself into a very beautiful yellow bell pepper while it was stored in the fridge. And I also chopped up some purple colored cabbage, so it just adds a lot of color to the dish and I wanted the dish to be very colorful, so I added this one also. And finally I chopped up some spring onion. I think spring onion adds a very fresh flavor to the dish, so I decided to add some of that. And I also had some sausage in my fridge, so I decided to chop that up and add it. It's an optional thing, but sausage anyways tastes good, so I just decided to add it. And yeah, all my prep was done and it was time to cook. So I started off by adding some oil in the pan. And once the oil got heated up, I added the onion and the garlic. So I sauteed it for a while, and when the onion became a little translucent, I added the bell peppers. And then I also added the spring onions and the sausages and fried everything together. So this is like the perfect stir fry recipe that you can have as a starter. It really tastes great. And finally I added the cabbage and fried it for a while before adding the rice. So for this recipe also I used some brown rice. You can also use white rice if you want to, but I love the texture of brown rice and I think it really goes well in this dish. So I just mixed it well along with the vegetables and sausage before adding the water to it. So before adding the water, I added some salt and pepper. If you are adding sausage like I did, make sure that you keep that in mind because usually the sausages have their own seasoning and salt added. And then finally I added the water. So I used 1 cup of rice and for that I used 2.5 cups of water. And for this recipe I used warm water because I think that just quickens the process of cooking. And finally I covered the lid and allowed it to cook for 10 minutes. And after 10 minutes, this is how it looks like. It will be partially cooked, and at this point of time I add the prawns. So I don't add the prawns in the very beginning because then the prawns become very rubbery and hard. So I kind of add them midway. And I also added some Italian seasoning. It contains basil, thyme, rosemary, oregano and all those things. And then I again covered the lid and allowed it to cook for 10 to 15 minutes. And after 15 minutes, the perfect vegetable prawn rice recipe is ready. This is the perfect restaurant style food that you can have on those weekends when you want to have some, and also you can make this for any guests. So yeah, I just added some freshly chopped spring onions on the top, and along with it I made some fresh cucumber salad. So I sliced up some cucumber and added some olive oil and salt and pepper to that. And yeah, I think this is the most colorful dish that I've ever cooked in my life. So the final recipe is something that you can have even when you are following a very strict diet. So it is a quinoa-pulao cooked with a lot of vegetables and chicken. Quinoa is very rich in protein and this pulao is not only very tasty but very healthy. So I started off by prepping the vegetables. I chopped up some bell peppers, some carrots, some sweet potatoes and some onion and garlic. Sweet potatoes really taste amazing in this pulao, so make sure that you add that. Now again I started off by adding some oil in a karai, and when it got all heated up, I added the onion and garlic. Make sure that you are not using any non-stick pan for these dishes because they need a slightly higher temperature to cook, and non-stick pans are not really great for that. So next I added the bell pepper and fried everything together till the onion became translucent, and once that became translucent I added the carrots and the sweet potatoes. And then I added 1 tablespoon of ginger garlic paste before adding the chicken. So I added the chicken and I also added some frozen peas. So on this particular day I marinated the chicken for an hour before adding. I used some lemon juice and salt. You can also use homemade curd if you have that, and you can keep the chicken marinated overnight. And then I added the salt and pepper. So that's the only spice that I use for this dish. I just love the flavor of the vegetables and the chicken coming out, so I don't like adding a lot of spices to this dish. If you want to, you can add some cumin powder or garam masala, but to be honest, it's not required. So finally it was time to add the quinoa. So I added 1 cup of quinoa and I had washed it beforehand. So always make sure that you are washing the quinoa properly before cooking it, because otherwise it will taste a little bitter. And before adding the water, I just mixed the quinoa up along with the vegetables and everything that was in the pan. So finally I added the water. So again, for 1 cup of quinoa, 2.5 cups of water. Added the water, mixed everything very well, and then covered it and cooked it for 20-25 minutes. And this is how the final product looks like. Make sure that you give it one final stir to just remove any kind of sogginess that's there, and to mix everything really well. And yeah, the very delicious quinoa pulao is ready. I cannot tell you guys how much I love having this. It's so delicious. Like, I never thought something so healthy can taste so delicious also. And you literally don't need anything else to eat along with it. But I just made some pomegranate raita because I really love having raitas. And yeah, it's ready to be served. So these are all the recipes for this video, guys. Do give them a try. I'm sure you will love them as much as I do. Also, if you have not subscribed already, please subscribe to my channel. I make new videos every week. Also, don't forget to like this video and comment down below. I will come back with a new video super soon. Till then, take care and bye bye.